For today's Faces of Faith, we're talking and taking a different look at religion, considering today's news that 22 U.S. embassies and consulates are closing over the threat of a possible terror attack. Now, the threat coincides with Islam's Night of Power. It's a special holy day during Ramadan, the month of fasting and worship for Muslims, which ends this week. Already, government officials and security experts are making the connection between terror and the Muslim holiday, but there are 1.6 billion Muslims in the world, and many moderate Muslims say their voices are drowned out by violent radicals like Al-Qaeda. Joining us now to talk about this is Zarinah Shakir, producer and host of the Washington-based show Perspectives of Interfaith. Zarinah, it's good to have you with us.
Thank you so much for allowing me.
Certainly. As a Muslim American, how does this news of this terror threat, especially the connection to the Night of Power, feel? And what do you feel like you have to do in response to that connection?
Well, let me say first, Mr. Blackwell, that I would say Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak to all the millions and, as you mentioned, 1.6 billion Muslims throughout the world, that we are in the last days of Ramadan, where many people have been fasting, and to hear this sort of connection between a terrorist threat and the Night of Power, there is no connection. I've never heard this before. And so it does not sit very well, I'm sure, with the majority of Muslims in the world.
But with the radical element of, I guess, any group, they often pick times and holidays to highlight the reason they're doing it. You know that many of the Muslim faith who are on the extreme end want to use the Quran as an explanation for why they're doing that. What does that make you feel?
Well, let me say that I don't know those people from that extreme end, and it may be about, I don't know, 1, 2, 3% of what is supposed to be part of the Muslim community. But these are not people that, for most of us, that we know or understand. We are not partners with them. We are not trying to speak on their behalf or to condone anything that seems to be volatile or terrorist threat, even to us. There are many Muslims, unfortunately, throughout the Muslim world that are being killed in mass, and that's not something that we feel comfortable with at all.
You're obviously very outspoken about religion. You host a show on faith. You're here speaking with us about your faith. What is the biggest misconception about Islam? And you've spoken pretty much about Sharia law.
Well, I was afraid you're going to bring this up, and our program does not really focus on Sharia law. Can I say that our show is called Perspectives of Interfaith? So we interview Muslims, Christians, Jews, Buddhists, Baha'i, Sikhs, on, the numerous religions. And our one sentence of our show is, we try to dispel the myths and stereotypes of various faith traditions. Sharia, which I find very interesting, and because it has been brought up in a number of legislators or political leaders in the United States, are saying they want to ban Sharia. Well, we don't need Sharia. We are not asking people to include Sharia. We have a constitution in the United States, and it would be good for us to follow the Constitution as it has been prescribed for Americans. And let me just say that there are very few people that even understand what Sharia law is about. And Sharia, even by Muslims, is not something that is understood well. But the final thing I'd say about Sharia is what people are saying, particularly those who know very little about Sharia, is you're saying to me as a Muslim that you are not accepting my law, which comes from the Holy Quran. The Sharia comes exactly from Quran, and many of the things and passages that I've actually read and heard about have not been anything that I've grown up with as a Muslim.
And I'm glad we've had this conversation so you can dispel some of those myths and share with us some of the history of the Quran and the month of Ramadan. Zarinah Shakir, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.